know, the Fulanis are less than 10%, even 1% of who we are in Nigeria. They are less than 3 million. And population is telling us we are 200. In other words, the Fulanis, this egregious hegemony of the Fulani people are less than 1% in our country. And these idiotic people, with the help of the British, Britain, if you're hearing me, you are put on notice. You are not going to get away with it. You have got a long time. And your useless contraption called amalgamation of 1914 is already null and void.
Kwara is called the state of harmony. That is the appellation. That's the nickname of Kwara State. But the way and manner you are describing things is as though Kwara is now under siege.
That's the right word. Kwara is under siege. From Kwara North to Kwara South, even some parts of Kwara Central, there is no senatorial district that has not been affected.
Can you give us an example? The report from SBM and ICRR is about 60 people killed in the last 2 years. And when you say that Kwara is under siege, the question will be, compared to a state like Niger, compared to a state like Benue, Nasarawa, these are not central state. What is the state of escalation? How bad are things?
Well, things are quite bad for a state that has been known for relatively peace. Let me run you through some of what has happened in some of our communities. In Ifelodun local government, which is probably the worst hit local government in Kwara South today, all the local governments have been affected in one way or the other, but Ifelodun seems to be the theater of war, and that's where the bandits are having a free reign. Now, we have communities like Babanla, Shagbe, Oreke, Gomo Alheri, Okeode. All of these communities have almost a weekly attack. The governor, for the first time, paid a visit to Babanla community yesterday. Of course, those communities are already deserted, but the governor went there yesterday, and he went to visit he went to see the traditional ruler to have a meeting with him. Now, the details of the meeting is not known, but we didn't see or hear that the governor visited any of the victims, either in their homes or at the hospital. Neither did we hear that the governor also made any arrangements, to make monies available for the treatment and all of that. But what are we saying? We haven't even seen any empathy on the parts of the government to these victims that happen. But let me take you.
And you're talking as though you're a PDP member, right?
No, you see, insecurity does not know party political affiliations.
Yes, that's what the APC in Kwara State is saying. That is the opposition that is behind all of it, and it's because elections are coming.
No, you see, if you listen to what goes on in the news, people in APC have been attacked. People in PDP have been attacked. Insecurity does not know party affiliation. It doesn't know religion. They have killed Christians, they have killed Muslims, they have killed people in APC, they have killed people in PDP, they have killed people who are not even political party members. But let me run you through what has been going on in some of our communities. Now, in Okeode, for instance, a group of people were traveling and they had a problem with their vehicles. While they were trying to attend to that, bandits came from nowhere, swooped on them. They killed 2 policemen, they killed a policeman, and killed 2 other people and abducted 1 person in Okeode. In Babanla, almost on a daily basis, the governor was in Babanla yesterday. Immediately he left Babanla, before he even got to Ilorin, the bandits have struck again. And they kidnapped.
Who are these bandits?
Now,
as the community leaders or community people, have they been able to identify who these bandits are?
From what we hear, from the experiences of those who have been kidnapped, what we hear is that these people are Fulani people. That's what we hear.
What was the mode of identification of these people?
Those who have been kidnapped, they spend time with them. They hear the kind of languages, they hear the language they speak. They can identify them by their facial looks. In some cases, some of these people are not even Nigerians. But they have entered our community and they're operating. Now, on a particular day, bandits numbering close to 100 attacked Babanla on motorcycles, shooting sporadically into the air. They kidnapped some people, they kidnapped the monarch's wife, and they shot, the vigilante people, and even burnt their vehicles and burnt some of them alive. Now, in this community, we haven't seen any response on behalf of the government. The governor didn't visit. They are not helping the people in terms of logistics, relief. If you go, the commissioner of police and the state director of DSS visited a community, Bankole. They didn't find a single soul in that community. And you see, because all of our communities in Kwara South are closely knit, when there's an attack in one community, the spiral effect goes to other communities. Now, almost 16 communities in Ifelodun are almost empty. All of the people have moved over to Ilorin because their safety is no longer guaranteed. The markets are closed, farms have been abandoned, and all of these things have they have social and economic consequences for development. We are not producing anything anymore. The markets are closed, And so people are not earning money to even stay alive.
But why does it look like leaders like you in these communities have kept quiet over these years, to the extent that about 16 communities, like you say, are now totally desalted? What effort has been made, if you say government is not doing anything, to coordinately come together and protect the people?
Okay. In your introduction, you mentioned about the Igbo people complaining and saying that there needs to be concerted government efforts. We have also raised our voices to complain about these things. Now, what have we done? There are people who have responded. We have given money. Every time somebody is kidnapped, the state government doesn't respond. It is the communities and good-spirited individuals that raise the money to get these people, pay the ransom to the kidnappers, and get these people released. We are paying hospital bills. Now, let me give you an instance. When a community was attacked in Kwara North, Lile, Alhaji Potun and his son were killed in broad daylight, the PDP raised a high-power delegation to go and commiserate with them, to empathize with them. And not only did they go to empathize, they went with money, they went with logistics to help the people in that community. The former president of the 8th Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, has also raised different delegations to different parts in Kwara North and in Kwara South. He sent money, he sent relief. Now, we know in Kwara South there are groups that have also, raising money to support the local vigilante. They're giving them resources for them to be able to get ammunition to be able to defend these communities. They are raising money, bought motorcycles, bought patrol vehicles. They're giving them money for fuel. That's what we can do as individuals. The primary responsibility for securing is government. Now, in Kwara today, I have been in government in Kwara. I was a special advisor. I served in the government in Kwara. While we were in government, there were regular security meetings where the state governor, as the chief security officer, coordinates other security agencies to deal with some of these issues and take preemptive steps before these things come up.
But look, are these things that you were talking about, could they be related to what we see escalating? Because it's not only Kwara that is complaining. Several other states are equally complaining. Katsina is complaining. Zamfara has its own share of some of these situations. States are also part of Kogi, part of Niger. States are experiencing part of Niger. And these are border states to Kwara. Kwara is also bordered by Benin Republic on this other side of the state. So could these be linked to some of maybe some of these bandits that are being chased by the security agencies are the ones now moving into Kwara?
Yes, I believe so. Kwara has enjoyed relative peace in spite of all that has been going on.
That's why it's been called state of harmony since inception.
Yes, and even while all of these things were going on in Benue, in Kogi, in Niger, Kwara was relatively peaceful. Now, when they began to disarm and dislodge these people, one would expect that a government like Kwara State government will take proactive steps to ensure that all of this spillover doesn't come and get rooted in Kwara. And those are the kind of things that we're talking about.
So you're basically blaming the Kwara State government for not doing enough.
They haven't done enough. That's what
I agreed that a mistake was made in 2023, fielding a northern candidate. And this time around, in the spirit of unity, in the spirit of fairness and justice, PDP leaders decided to swallow their saliva and say, look, let's take this thing to the south, where majority of the people expected that it would have been.
So fielding Atiku was an error for the PDP in 2023?
Well, as a result of the elections turned out, and because Nigerian people spoke, definitely it was an error.
And the party has regretted it?
Of course. To lose a very monumental election in that disastrous manner, as it were, certainly is something for regrets.
But tell me, Senator, quickly, before I forget, Peter Obi, have you been able to speak with him as a party? Is it coming back?
No, as a party, we have not spoken to Peter Obi, but you recall also that in the run-up to 2023, the expectation was that the ticket of the PDP was going to go to the South. And somehow, for reasons of fairness, people thought that the Southeast, having not produced a candidate for a major political party like that, would definitely have fielded a Southeast candidate. And obviously, it was Peter Obi that ordinarily would have picked the ticket. So, in anger, in frustration, Peter Obi left the PDP. And so, in the run-up to 2027, I'm aware that certain individuals have been talking to Peter Obi, hey, come back home. This is what we are likely going to do. And if you come, you stand a chance of being a candidate.
What are the possibilities of Peter Obi returning to the PDP?
Also, you know, in politics, nothing is certain. I've always said that in politics, 2 plus 2 is not 4. And so, and these are matters of interest. And when it comes to existential interest from a community of persons within a geopolitical zone, it is possible.
But those who are talking to Peter Obi, how far with that conversation?
Well, the conversation is predicated on the belief by such individuals that if Peter Obi comes back and he is the most favored candidate, the most supported candidate, and becomes a candidate, the PDP will make an impact in the 2027 election. So
with Peter Obi, if he's on the ballot in the name of the PDP, there is almost an assurance for the PDP. Is that the feeling on the inside?
Of course, that's the feeling.
Are you part of the party talking to Peter Obi?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But I can tell you for free that the PDP, like I told you before, is a big brand rooted in the Nigerian people. And so if, like now, that the ticket has been zoned to the south, there are several other persons that can also fly the flag of the party.
So, I mean, what about former President Goodluck Jonathan?
President Goodluck is also a credible candidate.
But what are the possibilities? We understand that talks are also ongoing.
Well, so, yeah, some persons are talking to the president, former president, to come and run, and it's a possibility.
But those who fear about constitutionalism, based on how many times he has been sworn into office and taking oath of office, and those who are warning your party that if you, if you thread on that path, it might be dangerous.
There's nothing dangerous there. You recall that in 2015, when President Jonathan GCFR wanted to run, there were hues and cries all over the place about the constitutionality of his candidature. But eventually, it was settled even by the court that he was qualified to run, and that is why he ran.
Well, you know what the Supreme Court has said about that vacuum, which was, of course, it was circumstances around Goodluck Jonathan himself when Yaradua and the vacuum that was left in the death of the former president, Muhammadu Yaradua, and when he left office, the circumstance and the vacuum in our constitution and what the constitution says about the oath of office and the preemption or the intention of the drafters of the constitution as to the chances of anyone that's taking an authority of office should not have taken more than the oath of office or have opportunity of serving for 4-year term for not more than 2 times. But if you calculate it, it will have been said that if Goodluck Jonathan is returned, he only spent 5 years in office. Goodluck Jonathan would have spent about 9 years, which is against the position of the constitution that 4-year term of not more than 8 years.
And then you know that Goodluck Jonathan had never been president for 8 years. Well, and you will also want to recall that
twice
similar issues arose when John Nyame of Taraba and Abba of Yobe contested for governor, having served part of the period
of the former
governors of their respective states. And the court came clean that yes, that definitely wouldn't count as one of the issues or one of the terms contemplated by the Constitution.
So that's what you imagine in the case of the 1 year plus of former President Yaradua spent by Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly. Because if that were not the case, Goodluck Jonathan wouldn't have been qualified, for instance, to contest for president.
Qualification is one thing.
Yes.
And serving in office will be another.
No. What I'm saying is that
won the election,
by the time
that may have been contested and jeopardized in the courts.
If it was contested, I have given you 2 examples of people who are similarly completed the terms of offices of their respective governors, and they came back, won election, and finished their own second terms.
So you don't think there's anything dangerous or risky about Goodluck Jonathan?
Not at all. Not at all, because I can tell you for sure here now that even at that, in the run-up to the 2015, Goodluck Jonathan was taken to court on account of this same argument that you are raising now, and the court ruled that no, he cannot be disqualified on the basis of that.
There is another gallant personality in your party who is a governor, and his name has come up separately, and he's governor of your station, Makinde. And there are those who say that's not a very good candidate if he emerges. What are you guys thinking in the PDP about such a personality?
Well, Sheyi Makinde is the governor of your state. He's performed very creditably well, and so he wants to run for president. And like I said, he will not be the only person that will be running for president in 2027 if it comes to that. And so by the time Nigerians in the PDP gather and weigh the pros and cons of all the candidates, PDP members will be able to pick a candidate by their estimation that is capable of challenging the APC government. And so, if it is Sheyi Makinde, fine by us, then all of us will fight behind him. But I can assure you that there are more than one other or two persons that are in contention.
My guest yesterday says the decision of the NEC was unconstitutional and was done in error.
The constitution of NEC in what regard?
In the regard of zoning the presidential ticket of the party to the south. It was unconstitutional that the party or any organ of the party does not have the power to restrict or disallow anyone from exercising their constitutional rights of being voted for or voting for anyone.
Yeah, they could be right, they could be wrong. Don't forget that in the very beginning of democracy in Nigeria, when the presidency was zoned to the south, candidates or aspirants from the north also contested. People like Rimi, for instance, of blessed memory, ran against the run of events of the party. So the zoning of positions to particular places does not preclude anybody from aspiring to contest the election. But it is important and instructive to note that once a party decides that this is the direction that we are going, anybody who comes to exercise a constitutional right has a right to come. But the decision of the party will be based on the decision that had earlier been taken by NEC.
And you don't think it's a preclusion?
It's not a preclusion. It's not a preclusion.
So because what the party has said that this ticket has been zoned, what you did in 2003 or 2022 was to say the party ticket has been thrown open. But this time around you say, what you have said invariably is that Abba Moro might be the best candidate to be Nigeria's next president, but because he's a northern Nigerian, he cannot run on the platform of the PDP. That is the decision of the NEC yesterday.
No.
And my guess yesterday is an error.
I can tell you this. The person who said it was an error certainly is not abreast with the constitution of the party. The party regulates its functions and its systems, and so the PDP has entrenched in its constitution the principle of zoning. And to all intents and purposes, it was intended that fairness should come to play, that equity should come to play, and that justice should come to play. And so I am saying here, therefore, that the Constitution of Nigeria provides for a level playing ground for all persons aspiring to be whatever in the country to aspire. But the decision of the party is, look, now we are looking onto this place to pick our presidential candidate. It does not preclude any other person. I gave you an example of the beginning where the Rimis and the rest of them contested against Obasanjo. Eventually, Obasanjo won. And so it's not a preclusion in any manner at all. But a decision had to be taken. Don't forget that these same people that are criticizing the zoning that has been pronounced now were the same persons who were complaining about throwing the ticket of the PDP open in 2023.
So you think this is the best decision for the party?
At the moment, yes.
My guest yesterday criticized. He said all of you that decided on that are walking from answer to the question, because all of you are working for Bola Tinubu to become the next president of Nigeria, to be re-elected. That whatever decision you have made is a summary that election of 2027 is going to be won easily by Bola Tinubu and the APC.
Well, the taste of the pudding is in the eating of it. We'll look at it, we'll come to terms with it when 2027 comes. Because ordinarily, even by logic, if we learn from the mistake that I said was made in 2023, as at the time that Bola Tinubu, the president, Bola Tinubu was picked as a candidate from the south, other candidates contested against him from the north. Did they win? They didn't win. And party politics and elections are about strategizing and winning elections.
Right. Give me a moment, but I'd like to know, there are those of you in NEC who have promised that you will punish Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister. I want to know how you're going to do that, but that's going to be after this break. Join us again, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Senator Abba Moro has been speaking with us on the program. He's a minority leader in the Senate. Of course, a major force leading a major caucus within the party at the national level. Senator, there are those who are not happy with the FCT minister in the PDP, and they are saying that his likes are going to be punished. How do you do that?
Well, let me say this without sounding like a broken record. All the hues and cries about discipline, they are unnecessary at this point in time. We are coming out of a disastrous election. 2023 certainly was the worst year for PDP as a political party when election results are concerned. And the choices before us is whether we should wield the big stick or go on the path of reconciliation. And it was decided that these two things can go pari passu with themselves. Try to reconcile as much as possible. Try also to discipline if you can. And in the run-up to 2023, a lot of things happened. A lot of things happened. People were genuinely aggrieved. Whether they carry the grievances too far is another thing altogether. And on this program, I had cause to refer election in America. And very many prominent Republican Party members openly canvassed for votes for the Democratic Party candidate, Kamala Harris. And I asked this question. There was a cry, the hues and cries and the agitations for punishment for those persons in the Republican Party that work for the Democratic Party. You wouldn't hear anything like that. In Nigeria, it's anti-party, discipline, and the rest of them. And our people have the same. You make a fire, a bonfire, you say one stick of the fire, bonfire is making smokes, you remove it. You remove the other one. You remove the other one. The smoke won't stop. You keep removing until you remove all the wood.
So punishing Wike is not a priority.
I mean, why is it always about Wike and the rest of them? Because we all know that obviously what Wike did, some other persons in the party did. We had a G5, for instance. The person who is going to run for president now in the party, Sheyi Makinde, was a member of the G5. Governor Autumn, who today is a board of trustee member from Benue State, was a member of the G5. Governor Ogwanyi, who was in the NEC meeting yesterday, was a member of the G5. Why is anybody not talking about all these other personalities and all of us that apparently somehow, one way or the other, didn't fall into the line of the party? Why is anybody not mentioning any other person? So I want to feel that the Wike saga is an unnecessary distraction that we can avoid if we have to forge a common front towards the 2027 election.
I have less than 60 seconds to close this program, Senator. But there is a problem. Funding might be a very great problem for your party. The usual suspect funding sources for your party, Delta, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, all of these parties have now been lost to the APC. How would you source for funding?
All of these parties, Sheyi, that you are talking about now, we're in PDP and we lost election.
So it doesn't matter.
Politics and elections are not necessarily all about money. There are other factors, other germane factors that are responsible for elections than the issue of money.
All right. Senator Abba Moro, Senate Minority Leader, it's always a pleasure.
But if the party dies, I'll be the coffin that will convey it. But we're all alive here now.
Senator, thank you so much. That's our show.
Now, it is okay to say the country is not safe. It is only by the grace of God people are living, sleeping, and waking up in this country of today. Do not be deceived by what APC members are saying, that the country is getting better, that insecurity has been reduced, that Tinubu is working, fighting insecurity. Number one thing you should know this now. In this country, Tinubu cannot fight insecurity. Do you understand? Tinubu cannot fight insecurity in Nigeria. I repeat, because if there is a problem, even in your house, in your organization where you work, if the manager, the MD of that organization created a problem before the company, the problem is beyond the MD. He is part of the problem. He created the problem. He is not going to stay in that same company to solve the problem he created. Do you understand? So Tinubu is part of the problem we have in Nigeria today. APC are the problem of this country. Tinubu is part of the problem himself before he became the president, because he knows, he was, if not among, he knows how they imported Fulanis or those machinery to Nigeria. Tinubu were aware. He knows when they were trying to make Buhari the president. Tinubu was aware of those Fulanis they imported into Nigeria. After winning the election, they left those people alone to do whatever they like to do. According to the story, there's a lot of story that they failed to fulfill their promises to these people called Fulanis. Then the Fulanis said, okay, we are not going, we want to stay here. So they decided to stay and building their empire in Nigeria. Now they are matured, they marry, get children. Some of them who were married before, they are now bringing their brothers, sisters, their wives and children to Nigeria. Now, the little space where they are living is not enough for them. They need a place where to stay. That's why you see all these problems now, killing by taking over people's community and depositing their old children, their old brother, sister in those community. So Tinubu is aware. So because he's part of the problem, he cannot solve the problem. Somebody else who is not in any way in connection with Fulanis, who is not in connection with them, who does not know anything about it, is the only person who will come to Nigeria as a president to solve the problem, who will be very radical in terms of dealing with these people called Fulanis. As for Tinubu, forget about it. Forget about it. Somebody who created a problem cannot be the solution to the problem. He cannot solve the problem. So it is another person who is going to solve the problem. That means this Fulanis is just the beginning. They're going to continue split until 2027. Take it or leave it. That is the truth. Now, this is Kwara State. Now, this one is complaining about Kwara State, that all the local government in Kwara State has been taken over by Fulani. This is a state where you don't usually hear about this problem before. Now it has been taken over. Very Dark Man was in Edo State a couple of days ago. He explained his experiences then with the kidnapper in those areas. Even me myself from Edo State, I know the report that I'm getting from my village, from nearby villages and everything, how they kidnap this, kidnap that. No place is safe. Do you understand? Very Dark Man, Edo State. Benue State is there. Katsina State is there. The other one is there. Plateau State is there. So which state that you can boldly say this state does not have any issue of Fulani today, that this state is safe? How many of those states can you boldly count? So the country is not safe. Now, Tinubu and his wife, they will not do anything because this one they are complaining that those state, Kwara State, is not massive. Like, it's just one person, they kidnap one person died, 2 of them died, 3 of them. But it's happening every day. Oh. That one is not enough. Tinubu, his wife, is waiting to hear hundreds of them before he will not go and donate billions of naira to those people to cause problem. But now they have been reporting. Nobody is doing anything about it. But they keep telling you that things are getting better. Insecurity is reducing, they are working. Meanwhile, these are the reports. People living in those areas. Tinubu, his wife, they live in Abuja. They don't know what is going on. But people living in those areas, they are the one reporting, telling you a lot of these things happening on the ground. We are not even aware, some of them. But it's happening. Country is not safe. Tinubu, his wife, you wait very soon. You go. You watch out now. You go to this state now to go and donate 1 billion to just to compensate them of this, of that, of this, of that, to ease them, to give them all those things. I think now he has donated about 10 to 12 billion naira to victims. Those money could have been used judiciously to do something to make sure it does not happen again. Wherever you donate the money, it does not solve the problem. It does not mean that after donating the money, the problem will not happen again. Fine, it's good to donate money, but hey, you donate money tire 36 states, 37 states, you donate money tire. Now, having said that, that's what the insecurity. They have to do something about it. Now, the issue of PDP, zoning ticket, and this man, Wiki. You know, we live in Nigeria. This is time Tinubu is doing everything possible. If he has not worked in 2023 to win election in that time, now he's working very hard. What do I mean by that? In terms of the judiciary we are talking about, he's working closely to them to make sure that the 5 and 6, whatever he has not been able to do at that time, that in spite of that, he was able to win the election. Now he's going to do it because he knows 2027 election is a do or die affair. And he's going to do everything possible to do it. What am I saying? Now, if PDP wants to contest, good Lord Jonathan should be out of this race because it's still going to be a problem for them. This one that you are saying now that it has been decided by the Supreme Court already that Jonathan qualifies to run. Hey, when it happens, 2027, when it gets to that time, then you will realize that the kind of country you are living, that the law can be upturned, changed overnight. So it is better to be on the safer side since the issue is already complicated. Constitutionality, Jonathan is not qualified, and yet he said the matter has been decided by the Supreme Court. Hey, no, the Constitution, people will bring it, they will still go to court. 2027, if Jonathan contested this election and he wins that election under PDP, APC will take this matter to the court. And once the matter gets to the court, forget about it. The third person or the second person will be declared the winner, while Jonathan will be disqualified. That's what will likely happen. So it is better they do not waste their time giving the ticket to Jonathan. If you want to give it to Peter Obi, if Peter Obi is interested in coming to PDP, fine. If you want to give it to Makinde, fine. But let Jonathan be out of the equation. But which I think Jonathan is very smart. He should know all this, that he's not going to contest. So we are watching. We are seeing in the morning. This is still money time. So before end of this year, by January next year, then the action begins. At that time, you know where all these people belong, what they are made of. 2027, we are going to witness the winner of that election. But before that time, INEC should make sure the electoral reform has been signed into law, which we are pushing forward. Anybody you know say if you do anything, that electoral reform, now be my own, now they important to me. Who is contesting, the party they are contesting, it does not matter to me. Let that electoral reform be signed into law. Let anybody go and try test their popularity at the polling unit. Simple. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy. Run for me now, please.